people need to understand. It's a very simple concept. Just because something does not upset you or affect you negatively does not mean that it doesn't affect others negatively. That is what's important, not whether or not it affects you. So if your case for bigotry or racism or some other kind of ignorance is that you're not offended by the ignorance and the bigotry that you're spreading, that's an idiotic argument. And if your defense of others who engage in hateful rhetoric is that it doesn't bother you and that others shouldn't be bothered by it, that's not for you to say, is it? Because it's not you that's being affected. And sometimes words that you may cherish and phrases that you may cherish are actually hurtful. That's what's important. Not your desire to use those words. That is not what the overriding factor should be. To say otherwise is simple arrogance and ignorance. Hate, bigotry, racism, these are cancers in our society. And they affect us all in some very obvious ways and some subliminally. Because the farther and farther America gets pushed to the right, the more and more these so-called progressives and liberals are going to make excuses for and justify hate, bigotry, and racism. This is being borne out by reality. It's being borne out by what we're seeing right now. You may think that you personally aren't affected by a negative word or an offensive word, but that's not what's important. Unless you are a selfish asshole. We are judged not by the good that we do, but by the evil. And support of evil is in itself an evil act. And ignoring evil and hate is also in itself evil and has a negative effect upon society because it snowballs. Then you get things like the Nazi Party, for an extreme example, or you get a president like Donald Trump who makes thinly veiled racist remarks and whose almost his first act after becoming president was to remove protections for transgender children in schools. That is one of the few good things that Obama did. And he too shall be judged not by the good that he did, but by the evil. To anyone who is reasonable, of course. And Trump says things like, there are good people amongst neo-Nazis. No, there aren't. These people are inherently bad because of what they believe in and what they say and what they think. They are bad people. That makes them bad people. These are very obvious and simple concepts. People are often induced through fear and bullying into acquiescing to such things. But if you want to be on the right side of history, if you want to be a better person, or the better person, then you take a stand against hate in all its forms. We control the potential of the future. It can either go good or bad, or it can just kind of generally suck. If you think of yourself as an intelligent person, then you will not be a bigot, you will not be a racist, you will not hate, and you will not support such things. And you will actively fight against such things. And making excuses for such behavior, for hate, is not fighting against it. And in fact, it is bad. You decide who you want to be. I've made my choice.